She kind of, she said to me the other day, I like the Lao ban.
Okay, I did not know
So
that.
I threw that one in.
It was nice of Maggie to tell you.
Well, you got a third,
since I always
but you have to keep your Tom Morley card much more than me.
And I don't even get told that she likes the Lao ban. That's okay. It's no problem. I am only the house barber. It's fine. No big deal.
Maybe that's the reason. You didn't get the call. I told you. I don't think. By
the
way,
great point.
I don't think Maggie was withholding information, and I don't think she was. She was more making conversation when we were doing the draw the other day. She said she
for me, this horse is for me the draw is because Tom has 2 in here as well. For me, it was the draw. I put them 3.
Who trained the dam of the one Tom's Choice?
Oh, I don't remember.
Shouldn't Tom's Choice? Shouldn't the horse be named Maggie?
Maybe Tom.
Barkley
Pitt,
Tag.
maybe Tom Pitt
Barkley Tag has a big
Barkley
day tomorrow on
yes,
Belmont Stakes Day, race number 2. In a very big surprise, we both have the same horse. You know something? I don't fully trust this horse. Now, we'll show you a good deal. We'll show you the finish of the race, or the last half mile of All Others Follows race down at Tampa. And I'm going to say a few things about this race.
Okay.
This race was dominated up front by the speeds. You know, they were second and third the whole way, the 1 and 6. And it was a difficult race to close into. But also, All Others Follow was wide and out of position the whole way. This is a grinding type, and I think the Sea the Stars, the Chad Brown wants more distance. He probably wants more than 1.25 miles, but it's tough. You're not going to get maiden races at 1.5 miles. She'll run better at more distance. I'm still not wholly sold on this horse, but I just didn't have a strong opinion of anybody else in here, Andy.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same way. You have a couple of other fillies in here. The 8 Fortuna's a half to Harmonize. The number 6 Curly Whirly is out of a half sister to one of my favorite horses of all time, Gioponte.
Well, I remember Antonia Autumn. Yeah, that's right. It was Gioponte. You know, I saw that, and I'm thinking, why do I remember this horse? She ran for Christophe also.
She did.
She was the same connections as Gioponte.
Look, like you said, this horse was wide around the racetrack. She looks like she got the grinding mentality and running style. These 1.25 mile races, and as they get longer, the grinders more often than not prevail in these races.
I mean, the horse that's really the question mark, and you don't have this horse in your top 4, is the 7 In Front. Because the reality is, if In Front didn't have her last race, she'd be favored in this race, and she should be favored. All of her races are good enough to win this race, and there's no reason she shouldn't handle the distance. But her last race, something had to go wrong last time because, first of all, she broke well and just had no speed. It wasn't Jose taking her back. It was like she just dropped anchor out of the race, and she
fell
just
out of the gate and
never ran a step in there. She was a little wide at the end, but that was sort of because Jose knew she was just going nowhere. I think Jose felt like she was dead empty the whole way. And this horse ran very well in all 3 of her first 3 starts, and then suddenly she had nothing. I got to think that something went wrong, or maybe she just hated Gulfstream and hated the turf or something.
That could very well be the case.
Very weird. Why don't you have her top 4?
I want to see one. And the other problem is, I want to see one. She's got to get 10, and she's got to do it all.
Why shouldn't she get 10?
She's going to be on the front end. I don't know who's going to be in front of her.
I would think Eric Cancel is going to lead with Astoundment. I would assume, but maybe not. I don't know. I would go from the inside with her. She's faster,
right?
But you know,
you would go.
Well, Eric's been more aggressive. Picked it up a little bit in the last few days.
I think Shug's going to be on the lead. Now, listen.
How do you know she's in the lead? She didn't have any speed last time.
If she doesn't have any speed, I think she's in trouble because I feel like her first 3 races, she was forwardly placed and she ran well.
What about Cooley and Brown? Cooley and Bawn.
Yeah, she was the Bacchanalia race 2 back. She may have got beat to the spot, and she may have been best that day.
She just had too many chances for me.
Well, I guess you could.
What do you?
I guess your only argument with her, too, is last time she didn't like to give in the ground. She does not have to worry about that right now.
Why do you like Curly
Whirly, second time, stretching out. I think she's going to be better with a little more distance.
Hey, I will say one thing about that race. I don't know if she's a 1.25 mile horse. Perhaps she will be. She did not, that race, that figure's too low. Some of those Tampa races stink. I actually think there's an argument that's more like a 70 buyer field than a 61 buyer field.
Yeah, that was Shug's filly that went wire to wire that came back and ran on Sunday.
But the second horse is running a maiden claiming race on Sunday, so.
Yeah.
We'll see. She does have a nice pedigree.
Look, I really think Chad's filly. I think all of this follows.
I don't. I picked her because I didn't have a strong opinion of anybody else, and I really didn't want to because she's going to be a short price because of Chad. I'm not convinced that this horse is that good. And she's going to be short on the Chad Brown factor and all those things, and I'm not sold.
Okay.
I just smell. I don't know if she's that good.
So you don't normally take horses that are going to be short prices if you don't.
I just didn't have
that's
a
what
good
surprised
feel
me
for
about
anybody
this.
else
yeah,
in there.
I gotcha.
If I tell you what, if I knew that there was a viable excuse for
You'd have
Shug's
picked
horse,
Shug.
I'd have put her on top.
Okay.
Because I do think she'll be
Fair
forward.
enough.
I'm not saying she'll be in front, but she's going to be forward.
Fair enough.
I'm not sure that'll matter, but I think she's going to be forward because her other races are just fine. Race number 3, you're dealing with a situation we dealt with yesterday. You trusted them more than I did. I did not, and those horses won. The 7, all other things equal. You got all others follow and then other things equal. Good luck to Johnny I. I was confused
Johnny
just
I will be
handicapping
fine.
him. This is his win 2 back. Now, I think you could make an argument that last time he was just running way over his head. They claimed him for 25. It's not a great drop to 14, but it just wasn't a great claim either. I didn't have a strong case for anybody else. You know, I hate picking these horses.
I couldn't. This one I couldn't pick.
Yeah, you're probably right. You're better in these races than I am.
This one,
I struggle in these claiming races trying to figure it all out.
And part of the reason I couldn't pick this one is a reason you're not going to give put much credence in.
I'm still in tears about that.
Yeah.
What?
I bet the 3rd horse, Bad Guy, who I needed yesterday for another score.
Well, it was a back-to-back tough beats.
Yeah.
Because that beat with that 31-1 first-time starter made me want to
I had a
throw
$3
up.
pick 3 if they each win. It's got to be 20,000.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be here today. You'd be on a beach drinking a pina colada.
I'd be here.
Yeah, you'd have probably blown it somehow, the late double.
Yeah, it was like something late.
I'm not trying to beat this horse. I think your horse is a perfectly logical alternative.
Yeah, again, this is a race where I've already put in my early pick 5. I went 4 deep. I had a tough time getting a handle on this. I knew one thing. I wasn't picking other things equal, especially, you know, this horse has one sprint, and it was 2 years ago at Monmouth Park. And I know you don't worry about the distance as much as I do, but this horse is going 6.5 from. Okay. Yeah, exactly. 6.5 furlongs. I don't know. This was just no sprint
You'll stop
form.
worrying about distance at some point in your life, and you'll thank me.
I can't. I mean, I guessed a little bit with Ari's Naughty Luca, whose best races, quite frankly, have come at Belmont Park.
Yeah, well, I don't know. What's wrong with the race 4 back? Isn't that one of the
No,
best
but
races?
I mean, I think her better
Second
races.
best races ever run. I don't think
her best overall her best races have come at Belmont. I want to use a little bit voodoo handicapping. Use a little Bears Mafia. Talent Scout just won right before the break.
I'm not using Bear. Talent Scout was very annoying because they were actually betting the other half of the entry, and I liked Talent Scout and couldn't pick him. And he won, and he would have been a much bigger price by himself. He's not very good. He beat a terrible field, and I don't know what to do with Bears Mafia. I don't trust this horse at all. He was brutal.
How can you trust any of these?
I don't. I'm going to use Call the Cat a little bit.
Okay.
I thought this race had a chance to come apart a little bit, and I thought Call the Cat might come running at the end. I like the rider switch to Eric Cancel, actually. That was an interesting rider switch to him.
Has the race off the break, too, so the recency might help.
Thought he had a shot. But
Okay.
I'm not getting smart there.
No.
Race number 4, the question in race number 4 is Leotone. Is it Leotone or Leotoni?
I think it's Leotone.
Here he is running 3rd 2 races back behind Sir Winston in Musical America.
Love him this
How
day.
do you trust this horse coming from Jason's service?
No. What do you do here? I don't know. Protectively,
He's in front. I guess you use him in the pick 5. I don't want any part of this horse.
You know, my question is, how much pressure, if any, can Hoffenheim put on him? There was a day where Hoffenheim could have been within shouting distance of this horse early on. I don't know if that horse exists anymore.
I have a very strong difference of opinion with what you're saying. I don't think you're supposed to worry about Leotone in here. I think because if Leotone shows up with one of his good efforts, he's probably going to win.
Going to beat these horses, yes.
Unless Hoffenheim finds his good races, in which case he'll stalk him and beat him anyway. So while Hoffenheim is either going to be sitting 3rd or 2nd, depending on how much speed American Lincoln and Romero Mirage try to show, I think you're in a good stalking position. I don't think you're letting Leotone out of your sights. But at the end of the day, let's say Leotone goes a little slowly here, and you're Hoffenheim, and so you end up only a half length to 3/4 behind him because he's going slowly. You're supposed to beat him. And let's say he goes too fast, and you're sitting 2 lengths behind him. You're supposed to beat him. You know what I mean? The question with Hoffenheim, who I picked in here, is can he still run? I actually don't think this horse ran badly on March 6th. He just didn't want any part of that group, and he just sort of got outrun. Don't forget, Chateau was scary. That was a fast pace relative to how slowly the track was playing back then. And the speed never came back, and he was running a bit at the end. I was coming off a 9-month layoff. I think Hoffenheim makes perfect sense in here. He's got plenty of good races. He's a 7-year-old gelding. Where are you supposed to run him?
No.
What race is he winning for 62.5?
No, he's not.
He's running
It's
where he can
impossible.
win, and I just think he's going to run him down. I like him, and I'm going to tell you something. I knew you'd pick Creative Style. I still didn't show the video. I don't know. I don't know. Why?
I think he needs more ground.
He needs more ground, but he wasn't in a very strong field last time.
He wasn't, but it was also his first race off the break.
But the only really good race is the 1-2 back.
6.5.
I'm sure Eddie loves him today. I'm sure Eddie just absolutely loves him today. But I'm not consoled. His last race, two back, was good. He did beat Jerome Avenue.
I don't disagree. The race behind Free Enterprise and the Caretaker, he only got beat 7 lengths.
7 lengths a lot.
I just think this horse is
6 races back.
I think going long is what this horse is going to want to do.
I've got him third. I'm not going to be shocked if he wins. I've got Leotone second because I don't like losing to these horses, but he's a very hard horse to trust.
I used him in the pick 5 because I'm not letting him beat me.
What is it about Auto Straight? Oh, Rudy tip here or something?
I don't know.
How's he going to win?
Well, I know he's a little cheap, but
the Rudy is a little slow.
The Rudy horses have been running well. This horse only ran one time for Rudy.
It was awful.
It was in a weird race.
He ran the same race for him. He runs for everybody else.
I think this horse might be okay today.
There must be a story. Rudy must have liked this one.
I don't have a story.
He is.
I tell you when there's a story, there's no story.
Slow.
I know he is, but I don't trust Leotone. I don't trust Hoffenheim.
They better run the stretch in slow motion. If he wins and your horse doesn't, then your horse should be running for 14 soon.
Yeah.
Race number 5. Race number 5 ends the early pick 5. There's a horse in race number 5 that I have second, you have on the top, but turf races are just better than anybody in here, and it's not even that close.
When I went through this field, I crossed them all out. I didn't like anything, so I had to re-handicap the race. And when I did, I was just like,
Were you wearing that tie when you did it?
We're guessing. No, you like it?
I'm not huge on red. I have very few red ties.
I like red. I'm a big red and black.
You might
man.
not notice, but I like purple.
I've
picked
it's
up
hard
on that?
not to notice, Andy. When you go back and handicap this race, this horse has every turf race would beat this field.
Yeah. No.
Every
short, long, doesn't matter. I can't argue with it. He's got Joel Rosario.
And I kind of feel like I learned a little bit of a lesson yesterday when Abby Normal won.
Abby somebody.
Abby somebody?
Abby Normal?
It was the same thing. All of her races.
Shiraz and Abby Normal won on the same card. Remember at Saratoga, I think it was 3 years ago or so, it was the summer I got buried, it's just been a lot of them, where every sucker horse won, every horse that never won. And I remember the first race on Travers Day, that horse, I think it was Mott, that never wins, won by a nose and beat me a nose in the first race. And I remember I think I was with Seth. And Seth said,
Belarus?
Yes, I think you're right.
Belarus.
And he said, it just never stops. Never stops. He looked like a jumper,
Those
I love watching the jumpers, those big giant horses.
I went into it yesterday on the air with Bobby Newman on HRR, and I said to him basically do you know how many times Shiraz got beat a nose or a head that would have just made him ineligible for this race? And he said to me, he goes, you're going to the place where he shouldn't have even been there today? I was like, please, my mind is not good right now.
It's one thing, they're going to beat you when they win because you keep betting against them, so they're going to beat you. It would be nice if when they beat you, you didn't bet some 20-1 shot. It would be nice if it was just like a 4-1 shot.
Hit the exacta, but
I know, I was on the show.
Had a big double.
Tough. Anyway, I have no argument with this horse. And, always all right on the outside, the 12 is a dangerous horse on Pedigree. The dam won 3 of 5 starts. They were all sprints. She won over $100,000. A talented runner. Running this horse for $40,000, even as a homebred, stinks.
Agreed.
Pioneer of the Nile, a good dam, her first foal, and they just don't want any part of her. And I don't think they're trying to win a race first time.
You're doing it with a
She might win. I'm not saying I would leave her off my tickets, but
doing it with a Coulter or gelding, it's one thing. You're doing it with a filly that could have some residual value.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
As far as Yellen, I've had success with these Wesley Ward, Keeneland shippers in the past. Obviously, his turf races aren't that good. She has met some decent company. It's funny, she lost to Finite and Lucretia. Both of them won stakes, graded stakes, I think, this year in the dirt. She's probably going to be forward here, but so are the 2 or 3 possibly have speed. I'm just going on the Wesley Ward factor as the alternative. I don't have a case against her. I think the 2 Mariposa d'Oro is a little bit interesting here. The problem is the Shackelford, because all of these horses in the dam moved up on the turf while only 2 of 6 won, but it's not a very good turf turf influence with Shackelford as the sire, but I'm going to use this horse a little bit.
Okay.
But, I mean...
It makes sense. I mean, she makes some sense.
It's sort of Miss You Blues, and then you got to just sort of improvise, because if she runs her race, she's going to win here.
She has 5 races on the card that beats everything else. 4?
Yeah, I think only 4 turf races, right?
Yeah, you might be right.
Oh, I'm right. Got to be right sometime. Race number 6. Let's go back into the time machine and look at Anthony's luckiest win of his entire life.
Queen Cahen.
It's amazing the domino effect of things that had to happen in this race for her to win. That speed horse that Raylu rode that we made a little score with earlier in the winter got completely left in here and changed the whole race, and it really badly affected the second place finisher, Carrizo, who had trouble down the inside in the lane, and she was affected by a lack of pace, whereas Queen Cahen really benefited from it.
Watch this race getting ready to go into a Shiva. Make a Shiva call, and Andy sent me a very angry text. That's the luckiest win you've ever had in your life. And I walked into the Shiva call with a smile on my face. It wasn't the most appropriate thing I've ever done in my life, but then I explained to my friend Mitch that I just...
Anthony, I'm going to guess it wasn't in the top 50 inappropriate things you've done in your life. I don't even think... It might not be the top 500. I can't even imagine what that list looks like.
But yes.
Why don't you have any love for her today? Isn't she the horse to beat on paper? Do you think they're scared of the drop? Eddie doesn't like her?
You put her in the same spot I did. You're asking me why I have no love for her.
Tell you one thing about her. She ran against much better last time going 7. Did. She was awful, though. And I think that concerns me, and that's why he's dropping her.
Yeah, I didn't like the fact that he's dropping her so quickly off of the break. I mean, doesn't Kimura have to try to put some pressure on her today?
Well, she's not the speed. Kimura's going. There's not pressure on her. Kimura's in the inside.
But isn't her best game being on
the
front
we just showed
end?
a race where she won closing, so no.
I know, but
that's the best by her speed figure she ever ran, and she did her second best, and she did a closing, so best in the dirt. So no,
best on the dirt.
I'm going to disagree with that theory, actually.
All right.
I don't like her. What do you like about Miss Jax against this bunch?
I thought the pace was going to be a little more honest, and I thought she'd be just outside picking them up late. I think she ran against better last time, don't you? You think Darius Angel and No Deal are better than these?
She was beating 8 lengths, Anthony. I think she runs her last. I think she runs her last race. She'll be lucky to fill out the pentafecta.
When did we start that?
Today, right now, on this set. I mean, I'm not saying she can't win because she does have back races, and I'm not going to throw out any Rob Atras horses. Does it bother you that Rob had this horse entered much cheaper on Sunday, and he scratched her because this race was coming up? She was entered in that race.
She was the 10.
Much cheaper.
Yeah.
Does that bother you?
Yeah, a little bit.
That would bother me.
I had a tough time with this race. I had a very tough time
with this race. I
didn't.
I like this race a lot, actually. And we'll take a look at Mo Flash beating Excess Capacity in the slop on February 6th, the last race for Mo Flash, and 3 races back for Excess Capacity. I like Excess Capacity. I think she'll be in a perfect stalking spot here. I think if you look at her while she's won the slop, she's run fast figures in the dirt as well. She got wired by Sadie Mae in an arguably better field 2 races back, and she got, for me, the absolute perfect prep last time. There is no chance that John Toscano thought he was winning at 1 1/16 in that race against those horses last time out. She just needed a race. She got the perfect tightener.
Tying her up a little bit.
She set the pace. She folded. Now she's in the perfect stalking spot. I like Excess Capacity in this spot.
All right.
I also think the number 5 horse near Jump for Joy has a chance. She's a little slow, but she's got some back races that give her a chance, and I like the switch to Jose Ortiz. Jose's really been riding well. You know, I think it took him a little while with the broken wrist to sort of get back in the swing of things, and after not riding much, I think he's really riding in top form right now.
Yeah, he's riding well.
Yeah, so I think she's an interesting horse as well, a little 5-7 box.
We looked at this. We saw this race. I had a tough time with this race.
Race number 7. I had a tough time with race number 7. And let people know, race number 7 begins a 2-day $1 minimum pick 5. Races 7 and 9 today, and then tomorrow
8, 9, 10 tomorrow.
Is it so the Acorn?
The Acorn, the Jaipur, and the Belmont Stakes.
All right, so 3 grade 1s tomorrow, a stake.
$1 minimum.
Yes, $1 minimum starts here. This is a tough race. This might be the most wide open race of all of them to start it out. You and I had different opinions here. First Appeal,
yes and no.
Doesn't First Appeal never win? He's kind of not a winning type. It's not really your type of pick. She doesn't win.
Scratched into her. Yeah, I liked a little faith to that.
Well, that was a good scratch for you.
Here we go.
Well,
yeah, along the lines of Jose Ortiz riding well. look, this is another race that, like you said, kind of wide open.
I mean, she's good enough to win your horse. I just don't think she's a winning type. And speaking of winning types, there's Lovely Lala. What do you do with her? I mean, you don't have her in the top 4. She's the best horse in this race, Lovely Lala. But we'll show her last race, and she got this race handed to her on a platter. I like showing this one because I scored out with Courageous Dinah. This was a classic meltdown, wasn't it? Amazing performance by Cirque, actually, who finished 3rd. And then they sent Cirque long, and they rated her in her next start. That was a clever decision. But she just doesn't win. She had everything gift wrapped for her, and she doesn't win. I mean, I know she's going from Chad Brown to Michelle Nevin, but so what? Michelle does a good job. She just doesn't win this horse. 5 seconds. She's been in so many spots. She's supposed to get it done. Look at the prices she's been for Chad Brown. Now, I wouldn't leave her out like you did, but she's not a winning type.
I don't like it today.
Because
I don't like the break. I don't like the trainer change. I love Michelle, but I don't. And horses don't win. At the end of the day, and I know I picked a horse that doesn't win either. I mean, there was a time where First Appeal won. She's been in the exact 15 of her.
It's been a while. Those times have passed. When in doubt, I'm going to the Brad Cox barn without a trouble. Her recent form, she's tailed a bit. I don't know what she was doing at 7-5 last time out in the dirt. It's a turf horse, really, even though she's run okay on the dirt. She's really a turf horse. And she runs back to a number of her starts. And don't forget, where she finished well behind VIP Nation, she had in dramatic trouble, and VIP Nation was also on the gold rail that day. I don't know what to do with VIP Nation. You've got her 4th. My friend Nick likes her, Tamaro. I don't know. I thought she's not going to be able to get the lead in here with a Willoway and Collegeville girl.
Yeah, she can't
Isn't there
sneak
supposed
away,
to be some
right?
speed?
Yeah, there's supposed to be
even on the
some
outside.
speed.
Isn't a short horse supposed to be aggressive with Luis Saez?
Supposed to be from the draw, yeah. Yeah. It's part of the reason I like First Appeal. I think there's enough speed in here that finally today could be the day where
doesn't get
the
up.
collapse just comes. I also think Fetching's interesting.
So do I.
We both have her 2nd. You know, it's the slowest race on turf, but I think her game is going to be.
It's her debut, Anthony.
Yeah, exactly. I think her game's going to be sprinting, and she's supposed to get like the other closers.
Maybe as a new 4-year-old, she can improve.
Supposed
I
to
agree.
get a good
She's on my
setup
tickets.
in here.
She's on my tickets.
Yeah, I almost put her on top.
They're my main 2, the 1 and 7. See what else I would use.
I almost
in the
put her
internet.
2nd over the other filly.
$1 pick. Why is it $1, not 50 cents? I know a lot of people are out there crying for higher minimums. I don't get it.
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I did everything early today before I came downstairs. I have a very busy afternoon. A lot of radio and interviews to do. So I put everything in. So do you, but I'm saying.
I've been sleeping.
I like to start. I've
days.
been doing this lately because I missed a couple of things 2 weekends ago. I just put everything in.
Did you send the videos in for Sunday?
No. You want me to?
No. No,
I
we'd
can.
like to actually have videos in the show. Race number 8. Did you know I Love Lulu was scratching? Because you left him out of your top 4.
Yeah, this one I did not like, but I did not know he was scratching.
Out of your top 4?
I didn't like this horse at all today.
Out of your top 4?
Yes.
Tough field to leave him out of your top 4.
Time?
Okay. You left him out of your top 4. Well, he's not running.
Well, why do you
Because I was a little surprised when I saw your picks this morning and he wasn't in your top 4.
Why do you think I have all of this
Because you're a
inside
sneaky
info?
guy. You've got a lot of information. Don't give me that. Don't give me that.
Yeah.
That baloney. Get out of here.
Yeah, my nickname's 411.
Yeah, you don't give me that baloney. You must think I just dropped me off a turnip truck or something. Why do you like Summer Bourbon? My top selection.
Turnip truck.
Isn't that the line?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, am I driving a turnip truck? If you said like a bagel truck, it would be a different pizza delivery car. Turnip truck.
I have good friends that used to drive their family. They had like fruit delivery trucks, and they used to drive when they were kids. So an aside, it has nothing to do with anything. Turnips aren't even fruit. Anyway, go ahead. You're on the spot here. Why do you like Summer Revolution or Bourbon?
Go.
I'd like a summer bourbon right now.
I would love a summer bourbon right now.
My real friend sent me a nice bottle of, actually it's Scotch, I think, for my birthday.
What does that mean?
My real friend. I'm just pointing it out. You pick me up wherever I dropped off of the train. You're my real friend. I know.
You're watching America's Day at the Races, and our feature today is the Sir Cat, and we'll see that horse Chimney Rock, who was 2nd in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile Turf Sprint. He won his first 2020 start last time out, and right behind him in that last race was this beautiful gray Jack and Noah. He won the 2019 Atlantic Beach Stakes for trainer Mark Casse. But the big story of the day is we are on the eve of the 152nd Belmont Stakes presented by Naira Bets. There's Sole Volante, the 9-2 morning line, second choice in the first leg of the Triple Crown. America's Day at the Races is brought